August meeting, and I trust everyone's got their diligence operations underway, apart from Beza. Councillor Eklund, sorry. What happened to you, Councillor Eklund?
I didn't find time yet. My computer was, the password had expired, so...
That's a disaster, isn't it? Yeah. But
I will support Councillor.
Oh, you got both, John?
I have both.
Okay. Well, I've got one.
Alright. Councillor Kingley, would I be able to avail you to give us the karakia and the blessing for the day, please?
Thank you, Your Worship. Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia mā kina ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tai. E hi ake ana te ātākura, he teo, he hoka, he hauhu, haumie, hui tai.
Thank you, Councillor Kingley. Go to item number 1, apologies. Apologies from Councillor Harvey and Councillor Truman. It's only one's in that full house. Moved by Councillor Eklund, seconded by Councillor Kingley. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against, carried. Any conflicts of interest pertaining to the items today? No? Good. All right. 3. Confirmation of the minutes of the Ordinary Council meeting on the 1st of August. Any matters arising from those minutes or clarification of those minutes? No, that being the case, can I have a mover please for those minutes? Moved by Councillor Jolland, seconded by Councillor Rankin. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. 4.1, Turingi Tongadero Community Board minutes on the 11th of July. Any clarification of those minutes, please? No. Okay, moved by Councillor Kingley, seconded by Councillor Park. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Everyone okay with their screens? Cool. 4.2 is the Audit and Risk Committee meeting on the 17th of July. Is there 2 lots of... Oh, in the confidential part, yeah. So, yeah, any clarification of those minutes? No? Mover, please. I'm happy to move. Seconded by Councillor Eklund. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. 4.3, the Fred Committee, Extraordinary Fences, Rating and Reserves and Dog Committee meeting. Any queries on those minutes? Committee is fairly light in numbers at the moment, but it's all right. Any favour mover? Moved by Councillor Eklund, seconded by Councillor Park. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. 4.4, Ordinary Taupo Airport Committee meeting on 31st of July. Could I have a mover please for those minutes? Moved by Councillor John, seconded by Councillor Rankin. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Right, last one, 4.5, Turangi Tongadero, the ordinary meeting on the 8th of August. Any clarification on those minutes? No. I have a mover please for those minutes. Thank you, Councillor Kingley, seconded by Councillor... I'm happy to second that. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Right, that's the minutes. Now 5.1, new public roads, and we have Mrs. Louise Wood, Resource Consents Planner. Good afternoon, Louise.
Hello.
Right, we've got a few new roads in the district.
Yes, I thought I'd bundle them all up because I've got the Oakdale Downs one in front of me since late last year, sorry.
Yep.
What do I do? Can you hear me?
Yes.
And Wariwaka East subdivision, which you would have all seen is being constructed, nearing completion now.
Right.
And Oakdale Downs was granted consent early this year or late last year. And that's stage 1 is under construction now. And the remaining stages of Brentwood, they've already completed about 75% of the Brentwood structure plan, I think, with various stages of subdivision. And these are new road names for the remainder of that subdivision. So I thought I'd bundle them all up and do them in one go.
Cool, okay, well, thanks Louise. It's obviously been approved by all emergency services and all that sort of thing. Do we need to get them?
Yep, and there's no, there's some similarities with other road names, but as long as there's a different road type at the end as well, that's the main thing, that there's not duplications if emergency services are called out.
There's not too many unpronounceable ones, I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I think we'll manage.
Manganami? What's that? Manganamu, is that correct, Councillor King? Has Louise got that right? Manganamu. Good. Tupapa, Ara, Tahua, Kamaka. Very good. Okay, any questions of Mrs Wood? Councillor Park?
Hi, sorry, just one, with the Joe Kean Drive, that wasn't allowed because it was two. It was two names, but yet we've got like Yellow Lady and Parsons Glory.
Yes, it wasn't that it wasn't allowed, but we've got the Australian New Zealand standard, and it does say that you generally shouldn't have two names in their road type.
Yeah.
But in this case, we ran it by Land Information New Zealand, who are the sort of the final sign-off, and they saw that it was a continuation of that thing, and they've got quite a few double-barreled names up there already, and so in this instance they said that was fine, so I think we've got approval from them, that's the main thing. With the Kean Drive one, Mr Kean was asked if we wanted to go to Lynn's to check, but he said no, that's fine, if it's not what it's supposed to be, then leave it off. Yeah.
Cool, thanks.
Okay, Councillor Kingy.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just got a question just around the selection of those road names. It wasn't clear to me what and if any consultation had occurred so it's got appropriate hapu, but can you give more clarity as to which hapu? Because if I think of Maunga Namu, I might have to look at Dylan for this one. I mean, that's what we referred to a site back in Tūrangi. So is there, are we safe from the point of view of those names?
As was first, Councillor. I suppose just firstly the main kōrero is that historically Tauhara and Te Kanu have seen the two as twins, so culturally it's appropriate for both names. In this instance though, there is one issue that was raised by Louise, which is Pukenamu and Maunganamu. So previous time with council there was a conversation with Tauhara RMA that saw Pukenamu put forward as a name to council. That wasn't the name that was offered by Tauhara to the developer, but like you said, Your Worship, it was identified as an issue with pronunciation. People can't say Maunga. Not sure where that came from. The main conversation is that in the Wharewaka East conversation, the hapu have been engaged. In Oakdale Downs and in the Brentwood instance, there was no response or no engagement by the hapu. So there is no issue from council. I mean, obviously it would be preferred that hapu were participants in that conversation, but again, the developer made the appropriate connections with support from Dominic Bowden as to who was to identify. But Maunga Namu and those names have been through the hapu directly.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
All right. Thanks, Councillor Kingy.
Chairman,
Yes, Councillor Buddy.
could I just ask, in regards to the name, and I live over at Brentwood, I mean, I've passed these names around some in the community. I've only had a couple of days to do it. I don't know whether I'd like to live in a street called Yellow Lady Court or Parsons Glory Terrace. They don't seem to be, what's the word? Jarden Mole's not too bad and Pheasant's Tail's not too bad. Just wonder where these names arrive from. Are they any significant with the area?
They're all
Trout flies.
They're all fishing flies.
Well, I'm ignorant, I don't fish.
Oh, well,
I'm ignorant anyway.
I don't, but that's what they are.
I didn't know that either until today.
They're all flies.
It's in there. Yes.
Yeah. So just
That's what
probably like
the pheasant tail is a fly, and the red setter is a fly, and
Yep, they're all
yeah.
fly fishing.
Probably, Louise, and your job is probably a bit like hard work, isn't it? No one's ever going to like all the names.
Oh, absolutely. No, you can never
piece of art, you get half a dozen people who like it. And
There's only one difference, your worship, and that's Penny Grove.
Yes, yeah. And I guess Jarden is not a fly, and Penny.
Developers.
And they also wanted to change, your Blue Dun change from Caddis Grove, and I gather that the developer doesn't like Caddis because it's too much like Caris, who's a different development town, so that's a change to that one.
All right, thank you very much, Louise. Yes,
I'm interested in the names, and because it looks as though we've got lane, place, drive, way, grove, court, terrace. They're all. I thought at one stage we were like sort of consolidating on some of the terminology, that a street had to be a street and a drive was longer, and that Australian New Zealand standard that I mentioned does have a definition for each of those road types. Okay.
And you're right, generally a drive should be a sort of a main thoroughfare with a lot of sites off it. And a court, I know why they've called it Yellow Lady Court, because that's going to be a high density little pocket of small 26 units.
Yeah.
So unit title development, I think. So possibly it may even not need a road name because it's not probably not going to be a public road. But in any case, they thought they'd put them all in now. And so I did advise them of what suits what kind of road and things like that. Like a cul-de-sac shouldn't have a drive, but but they are free to choose within reason, and all of those are suitable because they're all serving the right number of lots and things.
Just interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, no other questions. Okay, there's a suggested recommendation resolution there. That those names be named. Obviously, it's a sign of development in the area. Obviously, there's a lot of roads there. There's a lot of new roads there.
Yep.
And will you send this to the taxi drivers? Taxi service?
We definitely do have to send it out to a whole lot of contacts, New Zealand Post and Land Information New Zealand and the map guy, this guy that's always getting in touch with me, querying things.
It's a lot of people. Driver 2 o'clock in the morning, eh?
So you hope it feeds down to the taxi drivers, and the maps.
Right, so could I ask for a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Rankin, thank you. Councillor Ackland, all those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Lovely, thank you very much, Louise.
Thank you.
5.2, Nicola and Dennis, extension of testing services agreement. We have Nicola Hancock and Dennis Lewis. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody. So today we're seeking approval to extend the testing services agreement for an additional 2 years. The current agreement's been in place since 2013, following sale of the council's laboratory. It's an operational contract and it's run very smoothly to date and there's no current issues. We've renegotiated an updated fee so that reflects some changes in testing requirements that have occurred over the last 5 years. And other than that, it's in the report, which I take as being read, so if there's any questions, happy to answer those.
Okay, thanks Nicola. Just the only question I had, obviously, we sold this part of our business to Gentry, correct?
Yep.
So does this sort of bind us going forward in the future, or can we put them into open tender? Or?
No, I don't think so. So over the next 2 years, the intention is to use that time to do a full review of the service and go through a comprehensive re-tendering process.
Yeah, cool.
So we're not obliged to.
We're not sort of caught by the short and curlies. Okay, all right. Any questions, councillors?
Do you mind what actually does the testing look for? What's...
Yeah, so the agreement actually encompasses a range of testing, so resource consent monitoring for wastewater discharges, stormwater discharges, the drinking water monitoring program, which we're required to do under the drinking water standard. So the laboratory is based down at the wastewater treatment plant and they do the majority of that testing down there, but they also do a lot of sampling for us out in the field. So we've got, for instance, around 90 groundwater monitoring bores, so they'll go out there and take those samples and bring them back and test them. So that's predominantly Three Waters consent compliance monitoring.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Councillor Park?
Oh, after that 2-hour session we had this morning, I'm happy to move the...
Fair enough, tell you. All right, okay, well, thanks, Nicola, and thank you, Dennis. Did you want to add anything? No? Great. She's done a fantastic job, hasn't she? All right, moved by Councillor Park, seconded by Councillor Williamson. The recommendation there, that we approve the extension, the testing services agreement to Century Drilling and Energy Services Limited, the price outlined. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against, carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, 5.3, Magic Software Contract Approval. Tracy May. Good afternoon, Tracy.
Good afternoon. So, Your Worship, elected members, we are seeking today to renew the Magic contract, which is our technology software contract, which underpins the operation of council, for a further 12 months. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Tracy. Any questions of Tracy?
I'm sorry.
Sorry,
I'm losing my voice today. Just a really quick question from me. I've never seen, this is an annual renewal?
It is.
And I've never seen it come before council before, have I? Is it because it's come over a threshold in cost?
Yes, it has. So every year, obviously, the cost inflates, and we also develop, and we have a support agreement with that contract provider as well. So now it is at the threshold that it is over CEO's delegated authority.
All right, I just need to clarify that.
How much over?
It is $268,000, so it's $18,000 over.
Okay, what's the delegated authority?
250.
250, okay.
It's only just over.
Yeah, no, I was just curious as to why I hadn't seen it before.
Thank you, Councillor Collins. All right, Councillor Park.
Just one more question. It says for annual till the 30th of June, so this is probably a retrospective approval, isn't it?
It is, yes it is. We have been negotiating some terms around this contract, so we're in a position now to actually sign that off.
Oh, great, thank you.
Very good, thank you, Tracy. Good to see you. Any other questions of Tracy? No. There's a suggested recommendation there. I have a move, please. Moved by Councillor John, seconded by Councillor Rankin. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Thanks, Tracy.
Thank you very much.
5.4, Council's July Performance Report. We have Acting CEO at the moment, Mr. Jonathan Wood. You would like to kick this off?
So I'll wave to Gareth on webcam, I'm sure he's watching me. So I'll do the words and then I'll do the real stuff in a minute.
Helping out with the flood.
Yeah. I guess the highlights have been that you've seen this place is fairly empty now. Our team has done an amazing job moving. It's quite a military manoeuvre moving people out of here. Been here a long time. I think on Monday His Worship opened the Customer Service Centre, and that's a real message of how we're beginning to change to deliver our customer service. Is pretty amazing. And I think the team down there are really loving that new environment. We've commenced the refit of the Turangi Service Centre. We've moved some stuff out of there. They're currently in the library, and we're knocking down walls and doing things to get ready for our new tenants. That's all on time and on schedule. We've done quite a bit of work with Carol Lamb, who, as you're aware, Carol does an amazing job out in the community. Her and I think there's a bit of a team behind her now, actually cleaning up other people's rubbish, but there's been some, I guess one of the challenges has been how we get the community to sort of understand that message. So we've come up with an anti-litter campaign which is trying to involve kids, so they begin to understand that actually throwing things out of cars or throwing it on the pavement is not a good idea, and it's got to come from the home. So really that's the tactic around that. We've got some great economic figures you'll get in the CWU this week, the last quarter's economic figures. We're above the national average in terms of our GDP growth this quarter, and that's been reflected, if you see in our building stats as well. So that full report will be in CWU this week, and it's interesting reading, but it's all great news. In terms of the nomination, it's highlighted though we've had substantial interest in the vacant council position down in Turangi with three nominees, and quite a large interest in the community board, which is actually really cool because normally that can be a little bit of a struggle. And the Vital Signs project, which is really about where the community sees reinvestment back into the communities. So if you jump on the Vital Signs project website, it gives you a bit more of a brief into what that's about. Pardon? And it's a survey to fill out, yeah. So unless there's any questions, I'll throw over to Alan to talk about the, okay.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ed. Just one question to do with the economic assessment that's being done down in Turangi Tongariro.
Yep.
Is that due this month?
So we received the final draft report, which was given to the working group. We just need that signing off by Go Tongariro, I think, and then it will come out for general distribution. I'm picking it'll be sometime in the next couple of weeks.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions of Mr. Wood just before we go to Mr. Minhelland? That's the body.
Mr. Wood, are you able to tell me what the earthquake ratings are of the buildings that we're moving into?
No, we could get that information.
Sorry, through the chair, we've got strengthening reports on all of those, so we know they're better than what we're moving from.
That wasn't my question. I asked what the ratings were.
Well, the question is, I don't know. I can find them for you.
Thank you.
Would you like that information? Okay. Yes. Take note of that. All right, Alan.
Okay. At this stage, you do not have any financials as far as the performance report. Jeanette and the team are still working with the auditors. No major issues have arisen, but it's quite a long process to end up with the audited accounts. So you can imagine why Jeanette's hiding in the corner. As far as the Treasury Management Report is concerned, the start of another investment journey. Fortunately, the first month of the year, we're ahead of plan on the amount of interest we paid on debt, and also on our actual investment return on the general funds of about 54 million, and on the TEL fund of 56, we're at just over 5% for the first month. So hopefully we can continue with that level of performance for the year. But as I say, this is just the start of a journey.
Excellent. Any questions of Alan on that? You want to go to the monthly treasury report next? Oh, that's you've just done that. Nothing else? Okay, any financial questions for Alan? No? All good. Hopefully that 5% continues on. Okay, what else is there?
That's it.
Who have we got next? Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
All right. So, thank you, Mr. Wood, for acting CEO. Have we got any questions? Further questions for the acting CEO?
That's that one. Let's just move on.
Surely, come on. Must be a curly one somewhere.
I'll just pass them along.
All right, I'll let you off today. Okay, suggested recommendation there that we accept where do I go? Here we go. Phil, I moved you there. Council recommendation, council notes the information contained in the council performance report. Could I have a move, please? Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Henry. Councillor Axton, sorry about that. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against, carried.
That was twice in one meeting.
What was the first one?
That's it.
That's it.
It's a
Right. 5.5. Okay. Oh, hi, Tina.
Hi.
All right, engagements.
So there's quite a few there, as you can see, and they're a wee bit over the place in terms of venue, so I'll try and remind you the week before where they are, but just check your diaries before you turn up. The only one we'd like to add is there's Making Good Decision re-accreditation course, which is on the 13th of September in Auckland or the 18th of October in Christchurch. So Councillors Harvey and Jolins are due to be re-accredited, and so we would like approval for them to attend either one of those two courses.
Thank you. Could I ask, was the September one in Auckland?
Yes.
I'll do that, it's closer.
Yep. And we'll check with Councillor Harvey when she gets back.
Yeah, cool. Councillor Park.
Is there a zone 2 in September?
Yep, and there's also, that's my second part, Zone 2 on the 21st to the 22nd of September in Rotorua. So again, a couple of councillors to attend that, please.
Very good. Do you want those names now, the councillors? Any councillors know they could be available now? Or
Sorry to clarify, what date for Zone 2?
September 21st and 22nd of September.
day before the election?
I can do those dates.
All right, thank you. Councillor Jolins. Anyone like to attend?
Just through the chair, I won't, but if for some reason you can't go, I'm quite happy to represent.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool. I think it's good. We've got Councillor Jolins anyway, they go, so if anyone wants to add to that, we can always retrospectively add to that. All right, any other queries or questions on the times or dates or anything like that? Okay, with Tino Marahuta, who? Hosted by LGNZ. Have we talked about that?
So again, a couple of nominations to attend that down in Wellington. It's a follow-on from the one at LGNZ conference.
Yeah, Your Worship, if I could just speak to that. So that's for myself. Councillor Truman is still away at that stage, so it's just for myself to attend. It's a carry on over from the first Māori elected members hui that was in Auckland that we went to. So this is a continuation of that. So just approval for that too.
Would you be happy to go?
Yes, yeah. Sorry, that's what I'm saying.
Councillor Truman's still away then, 25th September.
Well, I think between she comes back and then she goes for her birthday.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she's going to Vegas.
Oh, right. Okay. Cool. All right. Lovely. So, Councillor Kingi to go on that course. How do you pronounce that? Sorry.
Te Maruata.
Yeah. Thank you very much. That's what I said, didn't
Yeah. And just noting this. On the recommendations, there'll be a recommendation 3 regarding the Making Good Decisions and 4 regarding the Zone 2 meeting.
Cool. Very good. Okay. So all the times and dates are there. The additions, so amended. So here's the resolution. So the Council receives the information relating to engagements in September 2017, and the Council approves the attendance of Councillor Kingi to the Pariura meeting, and Zone 2 the attendance of Councillor Jolins, and if not, Councillor Park.
And the approval to attend the Making Good Decisions re-accreditation.
Yes, well, Councillor Jolins in Auckland, the Auckland venue,
yep.
And subject to Councillor Harvey's availability as well. Yep, cool. All right, can I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Park, seconded by Councillor Williamson. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against, carried. Right, here we go. Members' reports. Okay, members' reports. Any verbal reports or any could table them to the front desk here of the attendances you've been on. No verbal ones. Okay. All right. Suggested recommendation there that Council receive the reports. Moved by Councillor Rankin, seconded by Councillor Hackling. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. That's it, I think. So we now move into the, so that part of the meeting is closed. We now move into the confidential part of the meeting, and with that we go into competence, and also we have Mr. Max Chumley here. Correct? Max, how are you? To be permitted to remain at this part of the meeting.